My name is Tobias Veit, and I'm the director, the executive director of the Škola, which is a theater in Berlin. I'm very happy to be here in Belgrade. I haven't been here in ages, I think, and I'm very honored to be invited to come here and give a little seminar about, well, let's see what about my work, maybe about production, about the Schaubühne as an example of a theater, and with a particular way of working. And I want to share my experience with you, and I also would like to be in a dialogue with you about what theater production and theater management is and may be and can be. I think we are a small group, which is very good, I think, because then we can actually exchange and get into a dialogue, and not just I lecture over twice 4 hours, but we can really go deeper by you asking questions, interrupting me, and giving notes or whatever you like in order to understand whatever we are talking about more thoroughly, I think. So I would like to encourage you to ask questions as I speak. It may be interesting to, of course not of all of you, but maybe of some of you, to also present maybe a project that may be a company or a production from the point of view of producing to the group, and we can get into a dialogue about that in comparison to what I've told, for example. I would like to go into the question of different theater models that exist. I'm sure you know them yourselves, but we can look at it more closely, what kind of theater models there are, or just pick maybe 3 and look at them more closely, and then at a certain point I want to look at how what it means to produce a theater, to manage a theater. Maybe we can look at one of the models that we have discussed before, or maybe at even more. If we have the time, we can also look at festivals, how festivals may work, about tourings, and last but not least at international collaborations, especially maybe European collaborations. If you look at other theaters, there's actually in the past decade there is a great increase of the number of productions that are produced in theaters, and it's an interesting development, and you could ask why this actually happens. What is interesting, if you look at that, is that there's lots of performances on tour, and on tour means there's lots of, it doesn't just mean outside of Berlin, it means actually outside of Germany, outside of Europe even. There's lots of tours in Europe, but there's also tours worldwide. Yeah, this is what our output is. Yeah? we reach up to 120 or 130, sometimes even a little bit more spectators in Berlin. This is our output, and now the question is what is behind that? What kind of structure do we have in order for that to make that happen? To make that output happen? Now we have a structure for that to happen of altogether around 230 people that are permanently employed. So we have the executive directors, artistic director, then we have artistic staff, which is dramaturgs, production people, public relation people, then we have actresses and actors, we have technical staff, and we have workshop and administrations. And that is a whole structure of people that are permanently employed to make the program happen that we have, that we're doing. And then here you have a little, so this is just to give you a little bit of an idea of the space. So this is the whole space open, which we never have now, but I've seen it actually back 18 years ago. We opened it once for a site-specific project. Here you have these panels that can create different levels in the space. Now, what is something special about the Schaubühne is that it is not a state theater. It is actually a non-profit organization, a limited company, which is funded by the city of Berlin. So we get the subsidies from the city of Berlin, but the organization is a private organization. Which means the city of Berlin has no influence on us, but of course the general decisions of giving us money or not giving us money, which is a fundamental decision, because in this kind of structure, we will come to that later. You don't survive without subsidies. So if they don't want us, they can get rid of us, but this doesn't happen so quickly. So in all the artistic and business decisions that we are taking, that we have to take, and that we're taking, we are independent. So therefore, the struggle of survival in difficult times is much bigger than when you're running a state theater. The way the Schaubühne is organized is that there is an artistic director and executive directors. In this case, it's even two. And there is a board of directors who appoint the artistic director and the executive directors. And the board of directors in this case are is the old executive director, who's not executive director anymore, but he founded the Schaubühne, so he's a very important figure, and he's in the board. And the artistic director, Thomas Ostermeier, and the executive directors, which is Friedrich Barner and my colleague and myself, we are the board of directors, and at the same time running the theater ourselves, which means that when anything goes wrong with the finances, we are the responsibles, and we have to find ways out of that. Which always means that the executive directors and the artistic director have to work very closely, because of course the Schaubühne is the artistic program, and if something if something goes wrong in an economic sense, then you can only do that with the artistic program.